So when you talk of filmmaking and where to make films, you might be thinking of LA or London, but I've actually been working hard to make my films here in Ireland. After all the videos I've made on the making of my independent feature film, Gardener's Planet, maybe it's worthwhile to give some context to that film, to the wider independent film scene that's here in Ireland. Not just the independent film scene, but also the Irish film industry. So yes, we do have a film industry in Ireland and we're quite successful at what we do, which is obviously not compete with the big Hollywood blockbusters, but instead focus on producing smaller scale character dramas. And it has been, like I say, super successful. There's things like Adam and Paul. There was also A Quiet Girl, which was long listed for an Oscar a couple of years ago. And more recently, small things like these, That They May Face the Rising Sun. And yeah, in terms of the talent, there's a huge amount of talent that's just become international. Jessie Buckley is obviously the big name recently, but there's also, Sharon Horgan, Paul Mescal, and obviously Cillian Murphy as well from Cork. So when I graduated with a degree in film and TV from Galway, I did work within the Irish film industry, both actually in a post-production house in Dublin and also on set, in terms of totally the lowest of the low, in terms of locations assistant, productions assistant. And yeah, honestly, I had totally pros and cons about the experiences I had. I had some not so great experiences, but also some great experiences as well, looking back on it. And I guess from a positive point of view, what I took away from it is just, the organization and the schedules and call sheets, especially working in the production area, where when you're the one handing out the call sheet every evening, and a little bit helping them update the progress report and stuff like that. And that stuff was obviously key for bringing into my own projects, creating call sheets, schedules. That's just the very first and very obvious building block to create trust between you, the director or producer, and the cast and crew. And just in terms of then the project that I worked on, just throw out a few names, name drop a few famous Irish films, not really. Some TV shows like Damon Ivor, Klondike, Bridget Neyman, and then some films like The Flag, Handsome Devil, which is on Disney Plus, I think, at the moment. Sacrifice, which was actually an international co-production. There's a few others, but those are the main ones. And while, yeah, I had mixed experiences, because being a production assistant, you're just kind of running around helping everybody, and sometimes it's difficult just to focus on your own thing, or at least I had that difficulty. But like I say, if I hadn't worked within the Irish film industry, A, I would also always wonder what the fuss is about, and B, I do think my own projects would have suffered, especially considering that I self-produced Gardener's Planet. I don't think I would have been able to do that. I wouldn't have had that organizational skill if I hadn't worked within the Irish film industry. So I'm definitely glad I did, and it was a great insight just into how the Irish film industry works. And in terms of the independent film scene in Ireland, that has just honestly exploded. I don't know how many other countries have had the same kind of big bang explosion that we've had really since 2010, and it's still going strong. There's more people than ever in Ireland who want to make independent films, and not just shorts either. There's people making features as well. So it's really interesting. And there's a lot to talk about when you talk about the Irish independent film scene. It's never really been categorized because we're still in that initial big bang explosion. I think I would describe it as not necessarily, I mean, it's competitive. People want to do better than other people, but it's also a hugely collaborative scene. And I've been working both on my own projects and had great people work on that, but also seen other people and been on other people's sets and see them do amazing work as well. And yeah, it's not just shorts, it's also features. So there have been lots of filmmakers who've made features and got them into cinemas as well here in Ireland. So there's like Baz Black, who did Dublin Crust, Jared Locke did Spears and Night People, Zoe Kavanagh, who did Demon Hunter, and I worked on that. She's a good friend of mine. And there are people as well who've worked within the independent film scene and started out there, made shorts and then made features, and then gone on to work in the industry as well, like Damien McCarthy, who made Caveat and then Oddity a year or two ago, and now Hokum, which is coming out with Adam Scott soon. So there is very much not, I wouldn't say a clear journey, but there is, you know, there are people who've made that transition from the independent film scene to the industry. I guess just the digital technology has just removed a lot of the barriers. It's inspired a lot of people, including myself, to be able to make work that they probably would have otherwise never been able to make. And also it's removed a lot of the traditional gatekeepers from the industry. And yes, here are the top 3 most Irish projects I've ever created. Number 1, Feck Off Crows. This is a historical drama, a play that I wrote, directed and produced and put on in Dublin in 2013. This was set during the Irish War of Independence, and it's about 2 nuns who discover that they have crows eating the food in their garden, so they hire a British soldier to shoot the crows, and through that action they inadvertently find themselves caught up in the war. And this was a cool, very challenging and very different play to the normal thing that I was producing up to that point. Obviously it was a period setting, so the dialogue had to be period accurate as much as I could, but producing something, you know, historical of that period, getting the costumes, getting great actors who were really passionate about history and about the period and about putting on a play was obviously fantastic, and I learned a lot from it. And I still do have a full video of the play that I must upload here, but there are a few clips from it here, as you can see. And I'm super proud of this project. It went really well, and it was a chance for me to do something different as an artist from kind of the lighter stuff I had been doing. And I'm really pleased with it. I still do have the script, obviously, and I guess I would like to at some point maybe make a film of it. It seems like the kind of thing that would get funded in Ireland, you know, historical drama. It obviously had elements of comedy, but it was primarily a drama. And boy, I got some amazing actors, and just really proud of that project. Really, really proud. Number 2, I'm Talking to You. This is an independent feature film that I've spoken about before on the channel. If you haven't seen the full video, check it out here. I wrote, directed this film, and it's about 2 Irish guards who discover a propaganda pirate radio station while working on the M50. And it was set during the recession. It was filmed during the recession and set during the recession, as Ireland had had an economic crash in 2008 and was just struggling to redefine, I guess, its identity after the end of the Celtic Tiger, which had become kind of the be-all and end-all of who we were at that time. I think I am someone who's follows the news, at least if not hugely interested in it, but I was interested in what was going on at the time. I thought it was there was a lot of drama there. There was a sense of an identity being lost. So I tried to put a lot of that into the film, both in terms of some protests that I'd gone to, and also from watching the news. I think all artists take in what's around them, and you know how much of those observations ends up in the final work is different for every artist. But I'm Talking to You was very much influenced by what was going on around it, and also had somewhat of a student film vibe. Even though I finished film school at this time, there are a lot of Godard and Fellini aspects of it, which maybe I should be embarrassed about, but I'm not. I'm proud of that. That's cool. I think it's cool that I had the courage to put them in. Number 3, Poxy, Bleedin Shop. I think most people know about this animated web series that I animated and produced at this stage. There's 2 seasons of Poxy, Bleedin Shop. It's about an off-license in a rough area of town and all the colourful characters that come into it. And again, similar to I'm Talking to You, it's inspired by real life. I really did work in an off-license in a rough area of town in Dublin. And it's about, you know, homelessness and drug and alcohol abuse. And I saw a lot of that while working in that shop. And so a lot of that, if not all of it, loads of dialogue and characters really went into that, inspired by real life. And yeah, that's one of my favorite projects. There's a good mix of escapist fun in there and also reality. And you can see little bits of Gardener's Planet, I think, creeping into Poxy's shop, especially season 2 as well, with the monsters in the alleyway as well, you know, in terms of, you know, when they tear apart Bono, which is obviously escapist fun. So you have that escapist side to it, like with the monsters and Bono being killed. And I think that was kind of a stepping stone onto do Gardener's Planet a couple of years later. But also there's a reality in there, and it takes the subject matter very seriously in terms of the homelessness and drug abuse, and it tries to portray it realistically and sympathetically, and it tries to explore the topic a little bit. I was very much inspired by The Wire in making that as well. The way The Wire really dives deep into exploring society and the different rungs of society and how that society does and doesn't function. So a lot of people might consider making films in Ireland very constraining, and maybe if you want to work within the Irish film industry or within the film industry, they might have a point. But I guess my heart has always been very much within the independent film scene. And I believe the success of any filmmaker is how well they're able to overcome those quote unquote constraints or limitations or difficulties. And all filmmakers, no matter where they are, from Thomas Quain here in Ireland in the middle of nowhere to Christopher Nolan, all filmmakers will say no matter how big the budget is, it's never enough anyway. And with that, yes, we have reached the end of the video. I hope this was entertaining. I hope I've gotten in there everything I wanted to say as well. Every time I make one of these videos, I'm like, damn it, I meant to say that. But yeah, this is the end of the video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was enjoyable or entertaining or maybe educational. If it was any of the above, then please consider liking and subscribing. And yes, you know it, I will be back with another video from the world of independent filmmaking very soon.